You're at the Watchman Way, 124.20. Um, I don't sell anything here. I don't charge any fees for anything I do. I don't monetize the videos. I don't accept donations. I don't take a penny for anything I do. All we ask here, all God asks, is that if you learn anything, you benefit from it, you pay it forward. You pay it forward now by reaching out to your friends and relatives and trying to get them woke up and prepared for what's coming, and I'll get into that in a second. Pay it forward as we're going through this little rough patch that we're headed into with the economy, with extra food and water to those that you can help. And then in the recovery phase, we've been saying that we're going to pay it forward, and I was called about 2 weeks ago now. God originally called me in 2014 to warn about the first ever worldwide economic collapse, the draining of the swamp, the exposure of the worldwide pedophile ring, physical silver, and Litecoin as a way to protect ourselves from the things that are coming. In a nutshell, those are the main things he showed me. It showed me that, God was guiding and protecting President Trump. So the most pressing, basically, to be prepared, you got to have extra food, extra water, medical supplies, ammo, physical silver, Litecoin. I'm going to get into actually all of it, I guess, today. We've got tons of information on both our website that's posted. It's just the watchman.co. List for because what we put together is just kind of the basics. You're going to need other things for your prepping depending on your own personal situation. I don't think that it's going to get too bad, as far as the food situation goes. It could be a regional thing depending on where you're at. It might be harder in some places than others. There might be places where you go without food for a few days if you don't have any stocked. I think the most important things are, let me take a step back. The economy is on the ropes. There's worldwide record debt. They say our debt is like 23 trillion now. It's not 23 trillion. It's more like 250 trillion. When you figure everything in, everything they've been hiding that's now come to light, plus the unfunded liabilities, Medicare and Social Security, it comes to about 250 trillion. That money's never going to be paid back. There's going to be it's a mathematical certainty. There will be a collapse before the election, one way or another. Either it's going to happen organically, or President Trump's going to declare a reset, and I'll talk about that, or the deep state takes it down. If it happened to get close to the election, they'll take it down in September or October, so we've got a collapsed economy going into the election. It's never going to get that far, guys. It could go down any day. What's going on with the Federal Reserve and the repo program right now? That's, I think, going to be what brings it down. They can't keep up. They can't print enough money to keep up with the outflow. And if they do keep printing it, it's just going to create hyperinflation, like they had in Venezuela, like they had in Zimbabwe, like they had in Weimar Germany. You can't keep printing money, fiat dollars, backed by nothing, which every currency in the world is fiat now. you and expect that it's not going to happen. I mean, like I say, it's a mathematical certainty. You just can't do it. Every fiat currency, the first fiat currency was in China. And so a fiat currency is a currency that doesn't have any backing. There's nothing backing it up. First fiat was China in like 1050 AD. So about 1,000 years ago. I think there's been a couple of thousand since then around the world. The average life expectancy of a fiat currency before it collapses, and they've all collapsed, is 34 years. And we're at like 48 or 49 years right now. 49, I think. This will be 49. So we're way overdue for a collapse. And then when you look at what's going on around the world, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out there's chaos in the economic markets around the world. China just had the first state-owned bond default in over 20 years, just a month ago. Something the analysts said would never happen because China would never let it happen because they're big on face and embarrassment. Yeah, they had a bond default a month ago. The bond yield inversion. Every time that's happened, there's been a collapse. It's happened several times in the last 6 months. What that means is, like, just say between the 2 and the 3 year bonds, right? If you're going to put your money in a 3 year bond, you expect you're going to get more money percentage wise than if you put it in a 2 year bond. It's common sense. Well, inverted, where you were making more money on the 2 year than you were on the 3. And it's happened several times in many of the different categories have crossed like that, called an inversion. Every time that's happened, there's been a recession. On and on and on and on and on. They only show us, and what they focus on is the unemployment rate, which is highly manipulated. It's actually closer to 25% than it is 5% or whatever they're saying it is. They keep changing it every couple of years so that you don't really know what it is. Go to shadowstats.com and then you can look up the real unemployment rate. I think the last time I looked, it was right at 25%, maybe just under what the real unemployment rate is. And that's to me isn't even the real unemployment rate. It's the way I think they figured it in 1980 is the way that they figure it at Shadow Stats. To me, it's very simple. How many people that want to work are working? And what percentage is that of the people that want a job? But that's not how they figure it. If your unemployment's run out, they take you off the list. Really? Come on. The unemployment rate is not what they say it is. And you can see it when you drive around. I mean, I'm telling you, this is, Northern California, which is supposed to be, the Bay Area, supposed to be better off than most of the rest of the country. This is 10 times worse than 08, 09. I mean, it's amazing how many homeless are out on the streets. I just can't believe it. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before. And it's getting worse every day. This can't go on. These are all signs that we're at the end of this economy. And when this goes down, which could be any day now, it literally could be any day. And then on top of this, you've got them ready to start arresting the swamp. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, most of the Obama administration. Bush 43 is going to be arrested. A lot of maybe most of his administration. What do you think that would do to the economy? It can't survive. And they got the pedophilia. Oh, got to go look at Epstein Island. Got to look at the Epstein case. Look who went to Pedo Island. The Pope. What's the Pope doing at Pedo Island? Prince Andrew. Bill Clinton, 20-something times. It's all coming out, guys. And it's going to rock the world. Not just the economy, but, you know, the core. Just think about these elites, globalist, cabal, Illuminati. They're all the same thing. Call them what you want. It's the top tier of the globalist, the ones with the real money. It's not Obama and Clinton, and those are their puppets. You know, they're getting paid to do their work, and they're taking orders. They're not calling any shots. The whole destabilization of the Middle East, it was all about banking. Look at every one of those countries. I think there were 7 countries. Look at the common thread. None of them had a central bank. They all threw central banks out. And then what happens to them? Clinton and then the Obama administration destroyed them. Destabilized 7 countries so that the bankers could get control again. And this is been going on for 70 years, 60 years. None of this, all of this has to happen for the betterment of mankind, for the betterment of the world. You know, we have to, people are going to find out when this all goes down how badly the banks have ripped us off the last 100 years. People don't realize the Federal Reserve is not a part of the government. That's a private bank called the Federal Reserve. I'll bet you could poll 100 people in any city, 3/4 of them won't get it right. 75% do not know, at least, that the Federal Reserve is a private bank. It's not part of the government. How come they have so much control? Well, they're not going to have it for much longer. But that doesn't help us right now. And here's the key. When you figure this out, for most of us, I mean, really all of us, anybody who knows about this beforehand and can buy some physical silver and Litecoin, you're going to be so much further ahead. You're going to be able to lose 80% of the value in your home. That's happening. Your bank account, everything, all paper assets are going to zero. Stocks, bonds, retirement accounts, pension funds, annuities, all going to zero. That's why you have to have assets outside the system. That means precious metals, gold or silver. You want silver. It's going to outperform gold at least 8 times. And in the cryptocurrencies, you want Litecoin. Litecoin is in the top 3 coins. Cryptocurrencies are a form of digital money, is the easiest way to explain it. It's the beauty of cryptocurrencies is, with cryptocurrencies, you don't need banks. Cryptocurrencies make banks obsolete. You can go person to person with this stuff. Send it right through the internet, through your devices. You've got Coinbase where you buy the coins. That'll all be posted. Your ledger is your storage device. It's like a thumb drive. Very secure. Can't be hacked. There are 84 million Litecoin in the world total. That's all. About 64 million plus have already been sold. So that leaves less than 20 million with a world population of 7.5 billion. And Litecoin being the cheapest of the top 3 cryptos in the world. Top 3 are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. So it's the least expensive, and it's going to have a far greater return on investment than either of the other 2. Either Bitcoin or Ethereum, by a large sum. Some analysts believe Litecoin by 2024 will be worth $3 million a piece. and Bitcoin will be worth 12 million. When you do the math, I think Litecoin today is about $52 or $53. The last time I looked, Bitcoin was, I think it dropped a little bit, it was around 8,000 or maybe a little bit more last time I looked. Well, when you figure it out, if you figure Litecoin at 3 and Bitcoin at 12, you want to buy all Litecoin because it's going to far outperform Bitcoin. It's kind of the same thing with silver and gold. The historical average of the ratio has been 10 to 1. It comes out of the ground 10 to 1. You get, for when you're mining, you get 10 ounces of silver for every 1 ounce of gold. That's how it's been priced for, 5,000 years. It's like 100 and, what is it, 160? I think it's 160 something. No, I'm sorry. That's Litecoin. 160 something Litecoin to 1 Bitcoin, and it's like 85 or 86 to 1 gold to silver. So now it takes 85 ounces ballpark of silver to get 1 ounce of gold. Well, that's because of the manipulation we've had over the last 20 years. They've totally destroyed the pricing mechanisms. The market's supposed to set the price based on supply and demand, right? Well, it hasn't for a long time. They've been fudging the numbers forever. Well, eventually, when this all goes down, all the manipulation is going to be removed because all the manipulators are going to be in jail. When that happens, everything's going to go back to its natural ratio, which is going to be 10 to 1 on silver to gold, which means that silver is going to far outperform gold, 8 times at least, when this happens. So I would recommend everybody get silver, everybody get Litecoin. These are what God showed me. And it's not just that I'm taking God's word for it, which I have, but all the research I've done in the last 5 years just strengthens my belief that God showed me the exact right thing, and these are going to go through the roof when this collapse hits. Either when the collapse hits or when they arrest. I believe all of it's going to come within a couple of weeks. The draining of the swamp, the collapse of the economy, and the exposure of the pedophilias is all going to come within a couple of weeks of each other. So imagine that. All of that info hitting the public who doesn't have a clue about most of it at the same time. It's going to be devastating. Look up cognitive dissonance. It basically occurs when you have a deeply held belief that's contradicted by facts or evidence, and you just can't process it, right? You're seeing this evidence that shows you what you believe is wrong, but you can't resolve it, right? It's just like you're frozen. It's like a computer buffering is basically exactly what it's like. Well, that's not bad if you're sitting in your home, but if the banks are closed, the grocery stores are closed, the power's off, and it's been 10 days since the stores were empty, you're probably out of food if you weren't prepared, and your kids are probably hungry, and there could be rioting and looting in the streets. What are you going to do? Especially if you have cognitive dissonance and you can't hardly function. Yeah, you can't have a conversation, let alone be out in the streets when it's dangerous. Being prepped mentally, physically, and spiritually is what we do here. What we try to do. And that's, the first step is fear porn free. We don't push fear porn. We're not clickbait here. There's nothing to get excited about or fearful of. The swamp has to drain. It's going to drain. No big deal for us. Economy has to collapse. There could be some rioting and looting, but they're going to declare martial law or have them close ready in case they need to call them. I think they're going to call them in and declare martial law when they arrest the big guns, Obama and Clinton. just so they can keep the presence on the street to keep the unrest down. But honestly, think about this for a second. I almost think they ought to expose the pedophilia first. Because once that's exposed, I mean, these people are torturing and murdering children, sexually assaulting them on video. Epstein was running honeypots. Honeypot is where you bring people in and film them doing bad things. Pedo Island was a honeypot. Epstein was working for the CIA and Mossad. He had a mansion in Florida that was wired. He had a mansion in New York City that was wired. He has this ranch in New Mexico. There's thousands of these people, thousands of hours of this disgusting video. Think about that hitting the streets. Think about the Hillary Clinton snuff video, where it actually shows Hillary Clinton, Uma Abedin, and a guy in a white lab coat murdering an 8-year-old girl after they tortured her. On film, clear as day. There's thousands of them. It's called Frazzle Drip if you Google it. You can actually watch it on the dark web right now if you want to. I have no desire. I've heard many accounts of it. They're all the same. It's horrific, disgusting, make you sick to your stomach. They torture them. They torture them because it raises the adrenochrome levels in the bloodstreams. So that after they murder them and they drain their blood, they get a high off the adrenochrome. They think it makes them live longer. 800,000 children go missing a year in America. Look it up. 800,000. This is all going to come out, guys. And when it does, it's gonna be shocking, obviously. Especially for the people that aren't ready. I mean, we're ready. I mean, we all know about it. And, we're going to hit the ground running. But just think about the people that don't, and think about when you first heard about this stuff. For the older people, it knocked me sideways for a couple of days. It's not good to hear when you've got these type of people. These aren't like scumbags running around the slums, the sewers. These are the wealthiest people in the world. The most powerful people in the world doing this. And it's not just like there's 10 or 15 or 20 of them. There's thousands, tens of thousands of them. I mean, where did 800,000 kids go? There's a lot of them. They're sick. It's been going on since Babylon. They're responsible for every war of the last 300 years, every terrorist attack. You hear globalism, it's these people. They're responsible for the globalist agenda, which everyone should know about. The UN website, go look up Agenda 2030. It's on the UN website. They want the world population to be 500 million in 10 years. Think about that. 10 years. They want to lose 7 billion people. They want to go from 7.5 billion to 500 million in 10 years. How are they going to do that? They were going to start nuclear war. That's what they were going to do. But that didn't work out for them when Hillary got beat. So now it's on to Plan B. And Plan B means they got to get rid of President Trump. And that's why we're seeing this circus right now. And I'm not talking about it anymore, guys. It's a joke. There's no crime. The media should be charged because it's, I really don't know why they just, well, let me take that back. I do know why. They want to get these guys on record testifying. That's what this is all about. That's why they didn't vote right away. Because they could have got rid of this in 5 minutes. They already had the votes. They could have taken the vote and it would have been over. They want to get these guys on record. They want to get them under the lights with the cameras running. And so this is all going to blow up in their faces, guys. But listen, it was going to blow up in their faces anyway. It's a gold mine as far as the evidence for prosecutors. There's so much evidence out there. Everybody that's guilty is going to get the justice they deserve. Whether it's treason, whether it's torturing and murdering children. There's 140,000 sealed indictments nationwide right now. You can look it up on the DOJ website. The average for a year is about 3,500. There's 140 right now. This is going down. I don't know how much longer the economy can go, guys. I'm going to be surprised if we get through next week. So, but it doesn't make any difference. We know it's coming down. Every day it doesn't is another day that we have the opportunity to wake somebody else up, to red pill them, to get them ready for this, for what's coming. And then we take that Litecoin and silver, and that's the other thing, guys, I missed on my intro, is we talked about, the economy collapsing, the swamp, the pedophilia, Litecoin, silver. The second time around was when God showed me the way. And the way was the church that Jesus brought to us 2,000 years ago. And basically, it's very simple. Do the right thing. We're all pretty familiar with what's right and wrong. I mean, for the most part, when we face those decisions, if you're thinking about doing the right thing instead of what you think is the best thing for you, you're following the way. It's living your life in the service of others, telling the truth, having integrity, helping your brothers and sisters, paying it forward. There's no downside to this. There's no hierarchy. There's no priests. There's no bishops. There's no pope. There's no administration. Your money isn't going to Italy. We put our donations in the hands of the needy. What makes more sense than that? That human connection. It's all part of this. And it's going to, well, then the reason that God wants this now is because the Catholic Church is ready to come down. The Pope is about ready to resign. They're going to announce that 70% of priests are homosexual and 50% are pedophiles. 50% of priests are pedophiles. How's that going to sit with your average Catholic? I was raised Catholic. Went parochial school, was an altar boy. I knew they were corrupt 50 years ago. Our deep state government the same way, taking down democratic regimes to replace them with socialists because they were better for business, for big business. That was what was going on with all these trade deals, guys. They were selling us out. The politicians, they were turning over all the power to the corporations. Those last deals that went through the Asia, they were basically turning over control to the corporations. The corporations were going to be able to tell the government what to do. They were going to override the government with these trade deals. That's why they didn't want anybody reading them. There is treason throughout. There's rumors that of the 535, I think, the senators and congressmen, 400 and something are going to be arrested. Think about that. It's crazy. I mean, they're damn near all of them are crooked. I think the only ones that are the new ones that haven't had a chance yet. There's a few older ones in there that are good, but they're going to be surprised about some of the people that come down. I keep saying I couldn't write a better script for how this has turned out. I know, people who don't know, who don't see the big picture, they're only focused on what they hear. Oh, the economy come down. That's bad. No, it's not. It's good. And it's really good if you have silver and Litecoin. Really, really good. Because that couple 100,000 maybe you got put aside for your retirement or whatever it is, $500,000. One Litecoin you pay $55 for today is worth $3 million in 4 years. Think about that. You can end up having 20 times what you had in your original retirement. Your home loses 80% of the value, so what? If you're a millionaire and the home values have dropped 80%, that's a good thing for you. Plus the fact that even though it dropped 80%, you're going to own it free and clear. That's the other thing with the reset, guys. So, two things happen usually when an economy goes down. Either you kind of Band-Aid up the system, you repair what caused it, if you can, and you crank it back up again. You can't do that with this. This is so, the system now is so corrupted and manipulated. When this thing blows, and it's going to blow when it goes because they let it get so big. The bigger the bubble, the bigger the explosion. We got a big one coming. Again, you got your assets out of the system. You've converted your cash and whatever you can, bonds, into physical silver and Litecoin. You're going to be set. This is all good. That part of it, right? The economy part of it. We also have the social part of it, with some. They say they're popular. I really question all these polls they're taking about the Obamas and the Clintons. I don't think they're as popular as they're saying they are. We're going to find out. Now they're ready for severe civil unrest. President Trump is. They're expecting it. I think that's why they're going to declare martial law up front. But let me jump back real quick. So with the economy, we're going to have either an organic collapse where the system just comes down by itself. We're going to have the deep state create a collapse if we get close to the election to hurt President Trump. Or we could have President Trump just declare a reset. The system is shot. It can't go on any longer. We're going to just wipe everything out. Anything you owe will be wiped out. Anything that's owed to you will be wiped out. So your bank account's gone, your pension gone. Now, your house, you're going to own it if you had a mortgage on it. Same with your car. If you're making payments on the car, payment gets wiped out, you own the car free and clear. So there's some upside to this, especially if you know it's coming. Knowledge has never been more important, guys. I can't stress enough. You all should be, for a couple hours a day, quit watching TV. Listen, they're trying to instill fear. I can't believe how many people are still asking me about impeachment. It's over, guys. There's no crime. The articles they submitted, they didn't have a crime in them. There's nothing they can do except vote him innocent. This should not be allowed to happen. I mean, it's when you think about it, it doesn't meet the minimum requirements. You got to have a high crime or misdemeanor to impeach somebody. They got nothing. They don't have a parking ticket. I think again, they could have stopped this if they would have went to the Supreme Court, would have stopped it. It would have taken them 5 minutes. They didn't want to stop it. They wanted, like I said, they want these guys under oath. And trust me, it's going to come back to haunt a lot of them. But the thing is, they don't care because most of them are going down for treason. They're going to hang anyway. So for them to lie, they're going to lie under oath through their teeth because they have nothing to lose. Because they know if they don't get President Trump out of office, they're hanging. Most of these people, Schiff, Schumer, Pelosi, anybody in the upper echelons of for sure the Democratic Party, and you'll be surprised how many Republicans go too. But again, it's for the betterment of the world. So now think about that for a second. We've got the evil that has really accounted for every bit of government violence over the last 300 years is now removed from Earth. Either they're dead, executed, or they're at Gitmo for the rest of their lives. They're gone now. Okay, they're out of the picture, and now we have the way stepping in to fill the void left by the Catholic Church going down. So we've got a much more spiritual system at the same time that we've got that evil removed. What kind of world do you think we're going to have then? This is going to be heaven on earth, guys. This is going to be man's greatest age. I keep telling people, critical thinking skills, discernment are going to be the most important assets you can carry with you right now. Because I think there's going to be a lot to come out about religion, about the history of religions and what they really are, the Bible. The Bible was written 300 years after Jesus died. Overseen by Emperor Constantine. Council of Nicaea, 330 AD. So this is one of these elites now. The same guys we're fighting off right now, today, is the one who assembled the Bible. I had a couple of people arguing with me this past week. God gives me messages. I believe it 1,000%. And these people are basically saying, well, the Bible says this or that. Are you kidding me? You got the Bible written by man, manipulated by one of these elites, so we're not really sure how much of it is 100% legit. And you take that over somebody that got a word directly from God, and that so far, everything that he showed me, go back and look at the things I've been saying for 5 years. It's all happening right now. It's all front and center. And in a year, pretty much everything that God showed me, is happening. So being ready is huge. And you can't wait till it goes down, because there's less than 20 million Litecoin with 7.5 billion people in the world. If you wait till it happens, what do you think those other 7 billion people are going to be doing? Sitting around? They're all going to be scrambling to do the same thing. We're seeing it now. Coinbase, I went to make a transfer this morning, and they couldn't load it because I think they were overloaded. And we've had a couple of members the past couple of weeks that the systems were overloaded. They couldn't get on. So don't wait till the last minute, because it's getting harder and harder to get this stuff. And the less there is of it, the bigger the frenzy that creates. So don't Don't procrastinate. I mean, you can do it tonight. It's all, you can do everything online. We'll put the links up for Coinbase and Ledger, for SD Bullion where you buy your silver. When you buy your silver, you want at least $300 if you can swing it of 1964 or older dimes. You'll find them under junk silver at the bullion dealers. And you want like $300 of those, $250, $300. And then the rest, whatever else you're going to invest, hopefully it's more, 1 ounce rounds, just generic rounds, whatever the least expensive. You'll have a big selection. Just get the least expensive ones out the door with the premium. You got to make sure. And some places you got to pay tax too, depending on where you live. So take all that into consideration. But you don't want to wait. You want to have it in your hands. And like I said, we're good till Monday now, but next week, the week after, soon, it's coming. And then going back to the civil unrest, I don't think, just think of this. So, all of it comes out, these people are arrested and what their crimes are. And then these videos are posted to websites where the public can go view the videos. What do you think the general public is going to think about this going on? 3 to 5% is all that condones this kind of behavior. 3 to 5% of the population. I've been saying President Trump gets 90% of the votes plus. 90% of the vote plus. You can't overcome this. The world is going to unite behind President Trump when this comes out. Because then it's going to click. This is why they were after him so hard. Was because he knew about this. What was the first thing he did when he came to office? His first priority, eliminating human trafficking, and especially child sex trafficking. Some of the things they do to these kids, and we're talking toddlers. They wouldn't want me as a judge. So anyway, guys, our 2 big jobs right now. Red pilling, prepping as one, and spreading the word about the way. You know, it's God's church. It's pure. One of the reasons I don't take any money is because I don't want anybody to question my motives. I'm doing this because God asked me to. I'm not going to ever take a penny for any of this work. And hopefully the money won't be an issue this year. I mean, this is going to break this year. Before the election, this is going down. And I think it could be any day now. So it's time to get ready. And it's time to get all your friends ready. Because the more of us that are prepared, the easier it's going to be for all of us. And the easier it's going to be for President Trump to keep a handle on it. Okay, guys, let's see what we got for... There are going to be, over the next 5 years, there is going to be some crazy stuff come out. Most of it's going to be true, but they're going to try and trick us, guaranteed. They've got CGI now that is otherworldly. I mean, they can make almost anything look real in the sky. Got to use your critical thinking skills, guys. They have more tricks up their sleeves. CGI, something with an alien invasion or the second coming, there's going to be something like that. And then the Muslim terrorist unleashed, the sleeper cells. I think that's going to be something we had to look out for when we get to the arrest. Because I think that's what they're going to do. You know, take all those guns from Fast and Furious that went to Muslim training camps in America through MS-13. That's what that was all about. Yeah, Fast and Furious was about arming the radical Islamic training camps in America. They've got so many charges of treason against these guys. It's like every time they turned around, they were committing treason because they never thought, they didn't cover the tracks. They never thought anybody was going to look. Hillary was going to be the last one. Hillary was going to be the finisher, and it was going to be over. So look where we are now, this close to the end. We're at the finish line, guys. It's awesome. Thanks, David. Yeah, so let's be positive out there, guys. And be ready. Because when this goes down, we're going to get swamped with calls and questions. Yeah, I think silver will be 1,000 an ounce before. Well, I think by the 4th of July, silver is going to be 1,000 an ounce, and Litecoin, God, more than that for sure. I think. Yeah, Susie's. Trust me, guys. Those of you that are just coming on right now, you really saved yourself a lot of grief because when you knew, just think about this. I've known about this stuff for 5 years. Well, more than that, but at least 5 years waiting and knowing that, I mean, that's what caused my stroke was knowing about the pedophilia and not thinking that we're doing enough and just letting that pressure build up inside me till I had a stroke. So yeah, if you're just coming on now, you've dodged a lot of pain. You know, if you're oblivious, hey, everything's great. But when you know, it gets to you. James red pilled his mom and dad today. Good job, James. Keep going. Tessie, how you doing? Todd. Yeah, and the other thing, guys, don't believe anything I'm telling you. Get out there and do your own research. That's what part of the knowledge thing is we have hundreds of videos and articles on both my page and the Watchman page and the website. Soak it up. Soak it up. Like I said, 2-3 hours every day. You'll be glad you did. Um, there's a lot to know. Trust me. What the heck are you here? Okay. Yeah, Chad's talking about Giuliani. They're gonna this Ukraine thing, guys. Well, it's the Ukraine and the FISA. Like I said, it's a target-rich environment for prosecutors. These guys, all the evidence is right there. I mean, it's all in black and white. They've got it all documented. Again, they didn't think anybody was going to look. Guess what? They're looking now. Okay, where am I here? April, how you doing? Okay, guys, looks like that's the questions for today. Okay, keep doing what we're doing. Be positive. Keep waking up those friends. It's getting easier every day, guys. I mean, I know between the different members I've talked to today, we got at least 10 people today. At least. We didn't get 10 people in 3 months 5 years ago. So this is really great, but it also better make us realize that the reason that it's getting easier is because it's almost happening, because we're almost there. And they can only hold back so much of this info. So, like I said, the floodgates are ready to burst, guys. We got to be ready for it. Again, no fear. Be positive. Spread the word. Spread the way. The way is the future of religion, guys. Just wait till you see what happens when that Catholic Church goes down. It's going to be amazing. Okay, remember, fear not. God and President Trump are 1,000% in control. We'll see you tomorrow night at 5. God bless.